Hello and welcome Strategy Battle Gamers to the painting table of GBHL James on this Monday hobby vlog. Not done one of these for a couple of weeks. I've not really had any time to get any painting done, to be honest. So it's been quite nice today. I've been able to relax a little bit and get a little bit of painting done. Now, for those of you that follow me on Hotgates Gaming, you will know that my priority at the moment has been trying to get my Alchemist team painted for Season 2 of Guild Ball Match Reports. But you'll also notice that there are some Rohan there, so we're going to talk about them in a second. So let's give you a little bit of a progress update with the Alchemists. So I think the last time I'd shown these off, and the last time I did show these off, that the green was done for sure. Let's just try and get that focus. But what I have done now is I have actually got a lot of the white done on some of these guys, and I've also started on some of the hair. So let's have a little look here. Now, I did the white technique for these, for the white shirts, a little bit differently from how I've painted white in the past. I've got a pretty good technique for painting white now, I feel, where I actually start off with a light grey and I build up so that white is actually just the final highlight. But I wanted to try something a little bit different on these guys. I wanted to see if I could do exactly the same with a very, very light blue, and I did actually. I used Fenrisian grey, which is actually more like a light blue, and did exactly the same technique. And what that does is, just sometimes when you see people paint white, you'll see that they manage to get that kind of the bluiness in the white. I managed to do that with these guys. Another little bit of progress that I have made is I have started painting the hair of some of these. She needs the highlight, but I thought I'd go for some nice bright colours. This is of course a steampunky kind of universe, and I wanted to try something a little bit different. So I've got the pink hair on her, I've got the red hair here. They all need a final highlight. He's got blonde hair. I've also painted his gold arm that needs highlighting up. He's got some kind of like blue flame thing that's in his hand. This is Midas, of course. But these aren't a million miles away from being finished. It's just that there's lots of pretty unique skills that I've not done before that I'm going to have to use for these. So for example, this guy, he's got flame. I've never ever painted fire before, so if anybody's got any really good techniques for painting a fire effect, if you let me know in the comments below, that of course would be really, really helpful. And a lot of them also have like glass bottles and tubes that are going to be full of potions. I've never painted like a glass effect before, so that's another thing. And also they're going to require some kind of very bright luminous-esque colours in there, and I don't want them to look pretty terrible by just painting that colour on the flask. I want to be able to paint the flask and make the flask look like it's a flask full of luminous liquid. So there are some techniques there that are going to be like she's got test tubes, for example, all around her middle. And I don't just really want to go in there and get it wrong. So those are my Alchemists. So they're nearly done. I am going to be able to start filming my next series of Guild Ball Match Reports on Hotgates Gaming, because I'm meeting up with Jay Finnegan of Guild Ball Informer at some point, and I'm sure he'll let me borrow his so I can get that kick started. But what you will see is that even though I have carried on making a bit of progress with those guys, I have got my Rohirrim in front of me. Now, why would I have my Rohirrim in front of me? Of course, I painted these guys. One of the first armies that I painted was some of the Riders of Rohan. But they have been due a repaint for a long time. My painting skill has gone up quite a bit since I painted them, and I was very, very keen just to at the very least start off with painting the cloaks. A big reason for this is that my reserve force for Throne of Skulls is looking like it might be a really cool theme where the three hunters call out to Eomer and his riders, and you know, Aragorn calls out, Riders of Rohan, what news from the mark? And I'm really going for that kind of theme. So the three hunters, Eomer, Marshal of the Riddermark, and then 10 Riders of Rohan, and that makes 600 points. It won't be a particularly competitive list, but it will be from one of my favourite scenes in the movie. So I've started repainting all the cloaks of these. Now, really I should go down and get another example of one of my other riders that I haven't sort of updated the cloaks with. But the cloaks before were painted, they had a Caliban green and then they were highlighted up, and they had quite a garish, sort of almost a creamy green highlight. So what I've actually gone for here is I've actually gone to the Castellan green, so a little bit more like I did my 3 hunters. And I also painted dismounts at exactly the same time. I actually quite like painting cloaks. I find it quite therapeutic. So think of this, painting these Rohan as a little bit of paint therapy for me today. Highlighting up from the Castellan green up to the Baylor brown mixed in with it, so that you end up with that kind of faded green, which is a much more like the green in the movies. Now these guys are by all means not finished. I'm going to be going over all of the different colours on them. I think the next thing that I will be doing is just finishing off any of the skin and making sure the skin's okay across the board. Then I'll probably go over and I'll get the horses repainted, because a lot of those horses are well out of date. They just got a colour on and then an ink on. But what that has also motivated me to do is to get this guy out, who I received quite recently, and this is of course Defenders of Rohan Eomer. I absolutely love this model and I'm keen to get started on him. Even if I take this force, I am keen to use my rarer mounted Eomer and this guy on foot as well. Which I think would look really cool. So I'm really keen just for these guys to get a really good update, so that they're not lagging behind sort of the modern paint scheme. I want them to look really good. I want to go back over the bases a little bit. I want there to be a little bit more flock on there, some of the white flowers that grow on the graves of the old kings. I want some of that going on, and some broken shields, some broken Uruk-hai shields and the like. So yeah, I'm quite keen. I've really enjoyed sort of going over these today. Like, it's not a lot of thinking going into sort of redoing cloaks. I hope you think that they look okay. Like I said, they're not a million miles off being completely finished on the cloaks. But every single part of these is going to be redone, so all of the wood on them will be painted with the new wood effect technique that I've been using of late. Of course, all the shields will be redone, the horses will be redone, all of the metal work will be redone, the leather's a big one, and a lot of them, you know, I clearly, when I painted them, just got the just put a load of paint on their hair and then inked it, and that was that. So they all need their hair redoing, really. But like I say, I've really enjoyed coming back to the Rohan. I absolutely love Rohan. If you didn't know that, Rohan are my favourite faction in the whole wide world. So to get them on the painting table again, just for a few hours, even if it is just going over old paint jobs, it's very therapeutic. And I even managed to get the 2 towers on in the background and watch a little bit of that to give me some inspiration. So I'm looking forward to cracking on with these. I am awaiting a replacement Thranduil. I'm not sure whether it will come in time for me to paint him to go with my original idea, more like a Battle of 5 Armies with Bayon and Thranduil, Mirkwood Rangers and the like. So it might be that I go with what is one of my favourite scenes in the movie, which is when the 3 hunters meet Eomer, Marshal of the Riddermark. So there you go, that is the painting table of GBHL James. Gives you a little bit of a chance to have a little look at some of the Rohan, which is cool. Hopefully next time I'll be able to... what I'll do next time is put a side by side, because one of these should be finished hopefully at some point during the week. I'll be able to do a side by side of the updated paint scheme versus the old one, and also hopefully make some progress with this guy, and also green stuff the gaps in his mounted version, his mounted equivalent, so I can actually start getting to work on that, and then hopefully my Guild Ball team will be finished as well if I can learn those techniques in time. Don't want to rush it. So I hope you enjoyed this little bit of an update of what's on the painting table of GBHL James. Don't forget, as always, to comment, like, share and subscribe. To support your Hobbit host by checking the links in the video description below. Remember, if you like seeing my content, make sure that you get yourself onto the Hot Gates Gaming Patreon, and also go and subscribe to that channel where you will be able to find us Strategy Battle Gamers lots of Hobbit strategy battle gaming battle report content. As ever, make sure that you also like our Facebook page and you follow us on Twitter, that you continue to support your Hobbit hobby, guys, and happy strategy battle gaming.